Unto all those who live and breathe, this is Earth, our home planet. A capitalistic world defined by a constant stare onto the screen, the worries of the traffic, and the means through which we pay our bills. Rarely do we find time to look up, to contemplate the wonders of nature. Most of us are involuntarily caught up in a rat race, the constants that yield the natural balance. We fail to notice the glimmers that amaze us in the rising and falling of the tides, the rising and setting of the sun, and the shifting of the stars in the night. All of which keeps calling out for our attention. But do we notice? No, we are all just too busy. A simple glance into the skies on a clear cloudless sky provokes a desire for adventure. Could I get there someday? Bible stories, those of the Anunnakis and numerous other civilizations, all point towards the skies. That where we came from, we are here on a stopover. Maybe by looking up, we miss home, and most of us may have a deeper feeling that we do not belong here. But how many of us have been fooled to think the wonders of the human mind are just coincidence, evolution, or blessings? The ingenious inventions that have made it possible to explore space, to visit the planets as they journey along their orbits. The departures and exploratory achievements of space-going craft, the close monitoring of telescopes such as the Hubble telescope, and the enigma of over 14 billion miles from Earth since launch are just a tip of the ice. Join us as we explore all these and other intriguing facts together in this journey back home. This is invitation number 1 to the Age of Enlightenment. To begin with, we are living in the best times ever to make sense of all these. The works of the likes of NASA, China's CNSA, SpaceX, Blue Origins among other space explorer of our time, serve as abundant catalysts to propel us to the search for better insights into space. As Elon Musk's motto say, when something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. If any one of us is convinced that we ought to be constrained within the borders of the horizons of Earth, ask yourself, why is the universe so expansive? Why are we here? Are we alone? Why are we so small? And then think. Think hard about the implications of interstellar travel. Let's start from the beginning. How probable is it that a person imagines it possible to travel to the moon, and then decades later, a device, in the name of a rocket, is improvised, with on-point calculations mapping the various angular velocities that the man-made spacecrafts have to employ to first reach the Earth's atmosphere escape velocity without burning out due to the heightened friction? Further, how is possible for the human brain to contemplate the difficulties that the craft is expected to experience in the outer space, and in the reduced margins of error emerge as magical predictors, thereby pushing off something close to a miracle? That said, considering what lies beyond the Earth is not only intriguing, but also might be a calling from home, our home. A pattern that our brains are not yet familiar with. However, not all of us would claim to be caught off guard by the interesting turn of events. There are some who seem to have found the right frequency with which to connect with the natural frequencies, going beyond the fears of being labeled outsiders, of being regarded unrealistic in their dreams. Their dares have backed the wishes of the likes of NASA in the rejuvenated search for a better tomorrow. The numerous fears that we live with have a certain degree of probability for turning out to be true. That said, the efforts to look for an alternative home has become imminent, knowing that if we manage to secure a chance to explore space even after our temporary habitation vanishes, then we might secure another billion or so years before the newly found home turns into dust. The world that we live in today is made up of capitalistic or communist individuals, whose main intention is to isolate the privileged few and continue undermining the interests of the masses who are ignorant of the proceedings. However, both the wise and the fool, when subjected to the harsh realities of fate, would not have the capacity to escape. Put simply, the have and the have-nots would perish in a similar manner, and the desolate ashes that would be left behind would hold little to no clues that once in time, there existed humans like you and I, and at a point in time, they failed to honor the vested capacities to think outside the confines of their comforts, and therefore faded into history. However, not all hope is lost. The United States of America government, under the leadership of like-minded citizens, have been at the forefront by ensuring that the intervention measures and innovations secure the best backup in posterity. There have been government subsidies channeled towards ensuring that companies like Tesla, among other companies, continues producing the eco-friendly interventions in the lines of car making and solar energy harnessing. But most importantly, we ought to synthesize the implication of the early civilizations such as the Mayans, the cases of the Easter Islands, and the stories that have been passed down from generations to generation about the origin of man. The star connections highlighted in the Egyptian and most of the world's early civilizations highlight a certain interconnection with the outside world beyond the confines of the horizons on Earth and into space. Specifically, the callings seem to point out to the Sirius star formation, where our seeds are said to have originated from. For a first video, this is just an invitation to the age of elite. But then, if it sheds light to the realities that are otherwise overshadowed by the presence of the recurrent human wants of hunger and social injustices that curtail the possibilities of the human mind to explore the horizons and beyond, then, the few minutes are worth spending in learning about what few will learn about. In this series we will cover facts that you have never heard of. We work tirelessly to bring to light that which matters, especially the search for our home, or a better one in case Earth vanishes under an asteroid impact or under massive volcanic eruptions. Let us not mention our own doing. In the search for our home, there will come a time when we might have to live in an integrated robotized body form, but eventually, we will land home, with a support system lasting over the 4 billion years that the solar system's sun has. Until we find that home, we will keep searching. As always, remember to click the like, subscribe and share button for new and insightful content that meets the thrill, delivers the rush, and leaves a longing to find our home sooner than later. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.